What's up guys, Jonathan here, and today I have another ranked gameplay for you guys. This is a solo queue ranked gameplay, and now it's season 19. I like to share with you basically what I've learned from the season. This is the game that brought me to Mythic. I'd like to share a little bit on how I got there and talk a little bit about meta as well in the process. Now with my favorite hero Yu Zhong, who is very versatile when you're playing him on the side lane in ranked right now, especially for solo queue. So let's get right into the gameplay. We have one tank on our team. I am the only fighter Yu Zhong. We have two assassins, Saber as well as Gushen, who is playing as hyper carry mid, and we have a mage Chang'e. Enemy team does have a tank Kufra. They have a fighter Joy, who are playing as side lane. They have another fighter Ruby, which is very annoying, and assassin Ling as well as a mage Valia. So actually in terms of the composition, they definitely have an upper hand. In their trio in the mid is definitely much stronger. As you can see, when I trade against Jawhead, the very important thing you need to do is to stack your passive and deny him. I did not clear this out. I waited for the last creep to die right there, and in that case Jawhead was unable to get the last one, and he's still stuck at level 1 right now. A little bit of a skirmish happening in mid. I don't want to leave the lane because I'll always end up losing farm, and this is especially important in solo queue because it doesn't matter what you do in early game, your stuff that happens in mid, basically anything is really about late game, because what will happen is that your props will start throwing, they don't know what's happening, and you'll end up losing if you try to help them out too much. So obviously he just denied this Jawhead farm. He did manage to get his level 2 as he got the experience, but I'm currently one level ahead, trying to disturb him as much as I can to avoid him from taking the last hit. He does secure it in the end. And once again, this got reset. Just taking my last hits where I can. Unfortunately, missed quite a number of them. In fact, all three I missed the last hit. Very awkward. But it does throw me off. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. But you can see immediately I saw the layer coming out. I'm gonna use my first skill. Immediately use my ultimate, and this is the standard combo for Yu Zhong. Immediately come in, Verli is level 2, killing out quickly because Verli does counter Yu Zhong in a way. Trying to do all the damage. Jawhead flickers out. Kufra is very low. Our team wants to engage on the Kufra. I'm very low as well. Taking the tower shot. Jawhead does throw me and I die because our team refused to take tower aggro. And because of that I had to lose. You can see what after basically a successful trading off, even when Gushen did get a kill on the Jawhead, but Ruby's lost. Saber lost to the Ruby right there. So you can see, even though I had a very successful start, you can see Gushen is taking my lane right now. There's no point. I'm gonna take Saber's lane because fuck you, you're gonna take my lane, right? So basically, you can see this is what happened in solo queue. I'm doing okay, but people are just taking my stuff, and you can see no one. They just don't have this team spirit. You really have to play for yourself. And that's really very apparent in solo queue. Doesn't mean that this will work in 5 man, because that's not how you're supposed to play it. But this is how it is. You can see a lot of skirmish happening here. I saw Ruby is there as well. So basically, it's the best time for me to shove the lane, deny one whole wave of creeps of minions, and Ruby will lose all the gold from this wave, and I will just proceed to hit the tower. So obviously, I'll be missing out on the team fight there, and we do lose our Tigger in the process. But here I do manage to get a whopping 180 gold, so that's really good. And Ruby is already behind after the endeavor by about 100 gold. Ruby does not win Yu Zhong in lane. Yu Zhong does not win Ruby either, but you can stack on Ruby, which gives you an advantage. But of course you have to be very careful, because if you eat too many skill shots from Ruby and end up not proccing enough passives, you might end up in a tough spot. And you can see Link coming right here. Young jumps away because I have my ultimate. Use my first skill immediately before the ultimate. Kill the Ruby, and then this Link trying to get me. I'm not too scared. Turn on my vengeance immediately. Waiting for Link to come back. Does get knocked out. Jump up on the position. As you think that Link will land, and we do manage to get a kill here. Kufra jumps in as well. This definitely is a mistake, but you can see what's happening in solo queue, right? People are just coming one after another. They have no idea what's happening. Kufra is trying to duel me, even though I am literally 2 levels ahead of him, doing so much damage, and I do get a last hit, and Kufra dies again. So they basically just fed me 3 kills. I'm currently sitting at 3,200. and our team is in the lead of 1,000, close to 2,000 right now. And you can see what's really happening, why Yu Zhong is really strong, right? Because what happens is that if people are just the slightest bit uncoordinated, you just get punished so hard, because Yu Zhong has so much sustained combat ability, especially when you're stacking on tanks, right? Because they just can't do damage to you. You can stack faster on them that they can do damage to you, and there's just no way for you to do anything. But of course you have to be very, very careful. Don't be so nice to your team to help them out. Obviously if they're doing okay, you can help them out, but otherwise always treat it that you'll be winning a lane first and then you carry the game onwards. Of course this only applies to solo queue. So anyway, you can see our team is just basically just losing everything in bottom, and you know, and I'm just not gonna give a shit. Ruby is going to bot, or at least Ruby is roaming down, so I know that. And once again I have the lane to myself. Bottom lane is definitely in trouble. Once again Jawhead comes around, they go get a kill. I don't give a shit, I'm taking my wave. Ruby has come back to farm wave, good choice to Ruby. But you can see that Ruby just can't do anything to Yu Zhong, especially since this Ruby took execute, right? So that's not gonna do anything. So play safe, obviously, don't die. Just farm as much wave as you can and wait for the Ruby to come in to get a knockup. No, I did not. And try to stack. Unfortunately, did not stack my passive, so it was not very good of a trade. But you can see Ruby doesn't know how Yu Zhong works, and this is basically solo kill right here. I do get a last stack and I get a heal as well as the damage coming in. Once again, just trying to deny the Ruby whenever I can. Two cannons fighting it out. Try to distract Ruby as much as possible, but Ruby does get the last hit anyway. I'm not gonna take the gold crab, obviously Yu Zhong doesn't take these things fast enough, but I will take the Sculler because this is a very good tool for roaming. And while Ruby is taking the gold crab, maybe I just went to take this Sculler. So anyway, I just thought a little bit about the meta right now in season 19, as I played quite a lot based on it. Basically there's been quite a number of changes. Standard stuff, Tigger coming in with the ultimate and the knockup. Just gonna stack slowly, no rush about it. You'll get a kill. So you can see what's happening here, right? Because I'm on the side lane. Just wait for my team to rotate, right? They always rotate the bottom and then realize they always die. You can see Saber is always feeding, he's always gonna die. So there's really no point helping out, because unlike let's say if you're mid lane, you don't get a choice to help out. You can't help the other lane. The other lane is just way too far. But anyway, beyond that, meta in season 19 pretty standard. Always strongest marksman is definitely Claude for sure. People just don't know how to deal with him in solo queue. And because you can see people just don't know how to shut down people. As you can see, I'm literally the most farm on both sides, and people are literally not coming to shut me down. And this is basically the epitome of solo queue right now. This is how it is. So just pick some hero that can snowball really hard, or some hero that can survive really well and have huge teamfight potential. You just win your lane, or good laning potential, for example, and you just win your lane and disrupt them, and then if you can do that, you're just gonna have advantage. So in that aspect, Claw is really good because he can just quietly farm, quickly go away. People don't know how to shut him down. Beyond that, Joe is very, very strong, both either in damage or in terms of tanky. I saw that Tigger match amazing out there, and he pulled it in. Unfortunately, I didn't show it out here. Just gonna go for the Valier. Got pushed away. You can see how Valier actually counters me. But good thing trying to get the last hit. Now Link's coming in. Saber does counter Link, get the damage in, but Saber is so squishy as well, and Saber's gonna die. So Saber is a very interesting one. Just gonna sidetrack a little bit. Saber is interesting counter to Link, I guess. Ruby also counters Link pretty well. Because anything with good crowd control, single target burst is pretty good. Ruby has a lot of crowd control, it's good as well. Cho is definitely worthy, but Cho is just harder to play, and Ruby basically just annihilates Cho because Ruby is just so easy and does so much damage. There's no way Cho will win Ruby in lane, let's put it this way, because Ruby has way more poke. Okay, beyond that, obviously any type of, what I've been seeing is that basically any type of hyper carry will, it doesn't matter what kind of hyper, doesn't matter how stupid that shit sounds, like freaking Alucard hyper, Layla hyper. If you want it, you can get it done, as long as your trio is having some disgusting composition, like freaking Hylos, or very, very strong melee support like Valier, Farsa, Grog, it doesn't really matter. Kufra, you know, Tigreal, Hilda even. It's really dumb, honestly, but that's how it works. You can see our team is just dying all over the place. Tigreal does get a kill on the link. I'm not interested at all because, you know, I can't secure anything for sure. I'm already ahead, so if anything, they're gonna bring the fight to me. I'm not gonna go out of my way just to kill them. Always play safe. You can see Ruby is actually 1,300 gold behind. There is no way Ruby will have a chance. So I'll just comfortably take my lane and that's about it. So beyond that, obviously as I mentioned, the mid can be anything. Side lane is definitely good survivability and lane pressure is great. Yu Zhong is good if you play him really well and play him carefully, but you must take vengeance, especially because, you know, I used to take Petrify Yu Zhong, especially sometime earlier this season. Even before this, I took Petrify Yu Zhong, but the main issue, and this is gonna be sounding pretty interesting, maybe a new thing for some people. I will be saying that Purify is just way too OP as a battle spell. But what I'm saying here is, you know, you see Link is trying to take this tower, even using the ultimate. Don't get it in time, but our team does manage to come in here. Gets a kill on the Link. And huge ultimate by the Tigreal. You can see how much impact he can have in this fight. And we do get everyone. And we're just gonna do Lord after this. Well, obviously Saber and Chang'e are not interested. They want to chase this Zhong hit right here. And you can see how much damage Saber also does. It's just that it's just too squishy early on. You really need the items. So anyway, beyond that, obviously side lane wise, as I mentioned, Zhong is really strong, and Esmeralda is strong as well. There's Yu Zhong is good, but you honestly it's not the best. You need to clear out Benedetta for sure. You have to ban that hero. Still very OP. You have to ban Brody because otherwise you won't get anything done in your lane. Brody will just pull you to death. And maybe you want to clear out Hilda, but early on you can manage the Hilda. It's just that Hilda probably will wreck your whole team. So that's kind of about it for meta. It's kind of mostly the same as last time, you know, last season at least, because Benedetta is still so annoying, Hilda is still so annoying, and well, Esmeralda is okay, Luna's been nerfed, so it just means Esmeralda is even stronger. So that's kind of about it, honestly. Build wise for Yu Zhong, as I mentioned, don't take Petrify, as I went on a whim here, talk about Purify. Huge ultimate by this Tigreal. Go in, try to get something to do. Can't get the Jawhead, got countered there. A lot of damage coming in. Our team is gonna get wiped here, basically, because they all went on the tower. You see how much damage they are doing, and this is why just let's talk a little bit about build here. Going for Rose Gold Meteor really helps you out with the shield. Chang'e coming into damage. Link jumped onto Chang'e. Chang'e will be okay. I'm not gonna go in, not interested. So anyway, talk about build. This is my sustain hard carry build, basically. Tough boots because you need to clear out your slows, crowd control, stuns, taunts, whatever it is. You want less time of it. Brute Force Breastplate, always a great item. Gives you a lot of chase so they can stack your passive properly. If not, you end up with, let's say, 4 and then you run off and you're just losing HP in the first part. So definitely a great idea. Bloodlust Axe is a core, definitely a core item. You really need to heal, although the passive doesn't give you healing on Bloodlust Axe. Everything else does, so it's okay. Not so bad, not so great, but you really do need him. If not, you won't have any sustain out of combat. Beyond that, Rose Gold Meteor, as I mentioned, gives you a lot more sustain, a little bit of lifesteal as well. That means you do basic attacks sometimes, even though that's not your main source of regen, but it is still important. And obviously after that, Blade of Despair, just for the damage, because you need the hard carry, especially you can see in this game I'm very far ahead. I really need the damage to go in. Obviously some people will think, why don't you take, what's that, Blade of something. Anyway, the Ling and the Ruby try to gank me. Don't be in a rush to come down. Once I come down, use my jump, turn on my vengeance, our team comes in, and we do get a kill onto the Ling. Ruby is still alive, obviously we're not gonna chase any further. You can see how much damage Ruby does, how much sustain Ruby has. But beyond that, this is really what you need for a lot of sustain, a lot of damage, and a good amount of tankiness as well. But you can see the amount of slow inflicted by Valir, especially because we build Ice Cream 1 and Glowing 1. A lot of crowd control. So Tough Boots, always a great pick. Last item will be Queen's Wings, just to give me more survivability when I blow, just to make sure that I survive. Immortality, I almost never take it, even though some people like it, mainly because if I die, there's almost no way I'm getting back in, especially in solo queue. So if it's other stuff, yeah, sure, maybe. But beyond that, I found that this is definitely one of the strongest items, especially it keeps you alive when you're really, really low. Of course, counters for Yu Zhong are, pretty straightforward. There's a reason why people don't play them a lot. It's just because he is still quite squishy. Yeah, I'm building him in this way, so he actually has quite some sustain. Not as squishy as most builds who go assassin and all. Not going vengeance. Definitely very squishy. Because people can just step up and you get kited. Lord just came out right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to take this red buff. Link looks to see him want to take it. I'm just waiting in the corner. I don't really care because if he jumps in, I still have my ultimate. And he does get last hit though. Beyond that, we're just gonna back out now. Tigo's gonna die. We're not gonna let him die for free. I'm just gonna go in. 2 kills. Get a kill on the Ruby as well from the Saber there. Ruby is really, really low. We do manage to get 3 of their team. Main damage is out. Only left Valir and Kufra. Try not to take too much damage before that. Kufra pushing them back. Not enough. Gonna stack the damage. Lucian coming in with the damage. Saber outs the Valir. And that will be the game. We do manage to wipe out everyone. And see what's happening. I'm basically the most farm on our team. And this was basically done simply because I was just farming all the way in one lane. I know it sounds dumb, but some in solo queue, people don't know what they're doing. If you go in and help, maybe you have an advantage, but in the meantime, you can see when Ruby left the lane, she lost so much farm, lost so much advantage, and you're unable to hold a team for that. So yeah, this will be the game. Yeah, it's the game that brought me to Mythic. Now it's season 19. Hope you guys are doing well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. And I wish you all the best on the ladder. This is Charles signing off. I'll see you guys next time.